Hi guys, I hope you're all well. This feels a bit weird filming. I haven't filmed in ages apart from my vlogs, and I don't know, they sometimes feel a bit different than a more formal video. But anyway, I'm using a vlogging camera anyway, so it kind of is a bit vloggy, I guess. I don't even know what I'm talking about. So today, I realised it was a month since I went to LA, and I just can't believe that. Time's flying. But anyway, I thought I'd come on here and talk to you guys about travelling with a disability, like travelling with a spinal cord injury, really, or being in a wheelchair, because a lot of you guys ask me stuff like that on my vlogs, or you've inboxed me saying stuff about that, and you know, because I just show the good side of things. I'm not, you know, I was living my best life when I was away, so although I did have issues, I didn't vlog the issues that we came across. But I thought I'd just share some bits with you, because, you know, I live really positively and I try and live my life to the full as much as I can, but obviously there are struggles, but I just don't focus on those struggles. So when booking a holiday, for me, it is quite tricky, you know. I have to, I was really quite stressed before I went away, and I was really worried because I've been planning this trip for so long, or wanting to go to California for such a long time. I was putting so much pressure on myself. But aside from just that pressure, I was also worried because I have to sort out my personal assistants. I have to sort out making sure the room is accessible. There's going to be a wheel-in shower. There is wheelchair accessible transfers. The plane ride, the thought of the plane ride was stressing me out. So I thought I'd tell you everything I did to get this trip going, really. So I booked it back in January because for years and years I really wanted to go to California, and you know, you could apply all these things to any holiday. But I was looking forward to this trip for so many years, and I just started thinking, now I'm getting a bit older, I was like, just do it, like, do what you need to do to get where you need to be, because, you know, we only have one life, so it's like, I didn't want to ever not do it. So I finally sorted myself out, and I used to always get really anxious asking people to come with me, because, you know, that isn't, I don't know, it's just a weird situation sometimes. But that was all fine and all good, which was great. So once I sorted out that I could go physically, I then went to Virgin and booked it through them. Like, so they booked my voice has gone all croaky. They booked the flight, the hotels, the transfer. So I thought it would be really smooth sailing. What I asked for was an accessible room. I wanted one room because there was 4 of us initially, but you know, it gets expensive if you have to start paying for 2 rooms, and it's, you know, you can't just keep doing that. So I paid for 1 room, and I asked for it to be accessible enough for 4 people, accessible for a wheelchair, to have a roll-in shower. That's it. There's not that much really. I can go in pretty much any hotel room as long as there's a wheel-in shower, or, you know, if I'm coming home straight away in the morning, I can just have a shower when I get home. But so that's the main issue if I'm staying somewhere for a while. So that's what I asked for. And then, so that was the Grafton on Sunset. And then I asked again for 1 room to fit 4 people in Vegas at the Cosmopolitan, with a wheel-in shower, accessible. And then also my mum booked her room. So she had a room for 2 people. I had a room for 4 people. I had a nighttime assistant. I have Carla, who's my assistant, but she's also my best friend, and then my best friend Katie. So they came, and you know, just whatever. So I didn't really think much more about that because everything apparently was fine, and the rooms were going to be perfectly accessible. So I tried not to worry about that. I was more worried about the flight at this point. So the night before we flew, we headed down to Heathrow, and we stayed at a Premier Inn, I think, yeah, which was fine. It was small, it wasn't really that accessible, but it was accessible. It was fine. The next day we headed to the airport, obviously. For Carla and I booked premium economy because I didn't know how well I would cope traveling 11.5 hours in one position in a really small seat without having to do pressure relief and stuff like that. My voice, honestly. So that was fine. So we got on the plane. They were really helpful at Virgin, like when we first got there. They saw us through really simply and quickly. And then we got on the plane. And to be honest, like, I always thought there would be some issue with the plane ride, because I've travelled to, like, I've been to New York, Miami. They're my furthest kind of flights, really. Miami's probably my furthest flight I've been in this situation. And I knew I'd get uncomfortable, and when I get uncomfortable, I get autonomic dysreflexia, which is my body's way of telling me I'm in pain. So that's like, I start like getting symptoms of like sweating or headache or just, yeah, they were the symptoms. So obviously sitting in one position isn't good for anyone. I put little flight socks on just so, you know, because I'm not moving around. I didn't want my feet to like, I don't know, your legs get, I don't know, where your feet get swollen or whatever. So I put them on, but after a while they started to annoy me, I think, so I took those off. We made sure that I was moved around quite a bit, but to be honest, even in premium economy, without the extra legroom seats, it was difficult. So with the extra legroom, obviously someone can stand in front of me a bit more and help me move, whereas in the, we were like one behind the extra legroom, and it's quite difficult to move me. My friend who came out there with us to LA, Lorraine, she at one point helped me by twisting me onto like my side a bit in the chair because I'm quite small. There was enough room to do that, so that was good. It didn't look the most comfortable or whatever. I looked a bit like I was falling out the chair, but that helped with pressure relief, really. So I must say it's very important to do that. A lot of people have asked me before if I use my seat cushion to sit on the plane, you know, to relieve pressure, but to be honest, I'm too short for that. My feet don't touch the floor anyway, so if I had another cushion on top of the seat, I would just probably fall over. So yeah, the issue for me is always just being uncomfortable, and it's more so than just like neck pain. It's obviously more like pressure pain. So yeah, that's really frustrating, and by the time I get anywhere really, I'm always like, geez, I can't wait to actually get in my wheelchair for once. But that's 11.5 hours, that's a long time for anyone. So then we got to the airport, and that was really quick actually. We went straight through security. We did this in England as well. I go to the front of the queue, which is a little perk. But in America, that was a real good perk because the queue was huge. So we walked straight through, and we were like, perfect, we're now gonna get our transfer, because Virgin have done that for me, I've paid for it. We get there, and the transfer isn't available, well, it isn't there. So we wait like, I think 2 hours by the time we actually got into a taxi. And they ended up having to ask a taxi from another firm, not the firm that Virgin work with, to take us because there wasn't anything available. And that really did annoy me, because the reason you book these transfers in advance is so you don't have to worry about it when you get there. I would have rather have paid like an Uber or a taxi myself. So that was a bit strange, and I found like that a bit odd. I need to tell Virgin about that actually, because I don't think that's good enough really. But that was fine. It was a wheelchair accessible taxi. It fit all our cases in, and mind you, there was 4 of us, 4 cases in the wheelchair. We did quite well. We get to the hotel, and they take us to the incorrect room. It has a bathtub and no shower, and I'm like, oh, we just asked for the wheelchair accessible room. Like, that's all I've asked for, nothing difficult. But luckily the Grafton on Sunset Boulevard was so helpful and just literally swapped our room, and we went to our dodgy porn star vibe room, which was fine. The bed was quite uncomfortable, and it was round, which was quite difficult to like, it wasn't the easiest to maneuver me in, if that makes sense, because you couldn't get to the bed very well because it was round. The shower room was perfect though, because it had like handheld nozzle, and that makes a difference, because then I'm not just putting like the nozzle straight on my head, because I don't want to wash my hair every day and drown. The issues we had whilst there, and whilst a lot of places to be honest, but we just deal with it and get on with it, is the fact that not a lot of wheelchair accessible cabs were available. Very rarely could we get a wheelchair accessible cab, especially on Uber. I didn't get one from Uber. I always have to be like put in the car, because obviously we needed a big car, so I had to always be put in, which was not ideal. But for LA, you need to go in taxis, or you need to hire a car, because especially if you're in a wheelchair, guys, like, it's fine if you're going straight along, but a lot of, like where we stayed, Sunset Boulevard, if you go down, there's like a vertical drop. If I was going down in my chair, the person pushing me would probably fall over, and I would probably end up on the road, because the roads are so steep. So I don't think some things were that far away, but everywhere was just a bit of a nightmare to get to. So we had to always get cabs everywhere. I think the only place we didn't was like the Chateau Marmont, because that was just down the road. But everywhere else we had to get cabs, Ubers. But yeah, there wasn't many wheelchair accessible cabs, so please bear that in mind, and maybe hire a car which is accessible, or just realise that this will be an issue if you're going to LA. But I find that with a lot of traveling, to be honest. I've been places before where it's been not too bad. Where have I been? A lot of the time though, when I go away, I'm usually kind of like somewhere where it's kind of like a seasidey place, like, I don't know, Spain or Tenerife or something, where you don't really need to get cabs. That's always been fine, but I've never had that many issues, to be honest. So what else? Oh, by the way, travel insurance when you're in a wheelchair is expensive. I got my travel insurance a few weeks before, and I think it was like 160 quid, so that's expensive. So when you do a big trip, I think you need to just obviously take into consideration that there is a lot to think about. And I think as well, people forget, because I even forgot actually, you need to obviously take medical supplies too, yet you still get the same amount of luggage. And I find that a bit frustrating because, you know, that's not a choice. I just have to take them. I'm not doing it because, you know, I need to take that stuff. Yeah, I need to still wear clothes. But medical supplies can, you know, take up a lot of room, and they did. And luckily, I spread out my stuff with everyone else, so I could actually fit stuff in, because otherwise I wouldn't hardly get anything, especially for 2 weeks. In LA in general, I didn't find it inaccessible. Like, I could get in pretty much every place we went to. It was just the taxis, which were a bit annoying, but we got around that. And I'm sure you guys will too. So don't worry too much about that. Just be aware and maybe do some research for taxi firms in advance, because the hotel couldn't even find us anything. So that's about it, I suppose, with LA. I was trying to make this more of a general holiday thing, but it is, because these are issues that do come up wherever you go, really. And just I always take extra stuff as well, because you never know. I just don't ever want the stress of not having enough medical supplies. I took too many clothes as well in the end, because LA was so not warm all the time. It was quite cold, and I was so surprised because we just expect it to be sunny and hot all the time, but I wore my jeans like 4 times, so that was a bit annoying. But then we drove to Vegas, and we just got like a biggish car, and my stepdad drove us, which was lovely of him. We then got to the Cosmo, waited in line like everyone else. There wasn't, you know, that was fine, what is what it is. And then we got given our room and went to the room, and I was like, there's a big step to get into the bathroom, like into the shower, sorry, and it just had a big nozzle. I was like, I'm gonna get soaked, and how am I even gonna get in there? Also, the room wasn't that accessible to get around. It was quite tight. Bearing in mind, this had 2 beds, so it's for 4 people. And also, I booked this back in January, and I had paperwork that said it needed to be wheelchair accessible with a roll-in shower. Good job I had the paperwork, okay? That's all I'm telling you. So always print off all your stuff, because I came into a bit of, you know, bother right now. So for a good couple of hours, we were arguing with, not arguing, it's a bit of an argument, with, you know, reception or whatever, because they were saying we did not book an accessible room, and it was like, we did. So we then went down, well, I didn't, I stayed in the room because I was just so stressed out. This is the thing, like, I don't generally let my injury get the better of me, and I don't let it stop me from doing what I want to do. It's times like this when people don't do their job properly that make you feel disabled, because it's literally all I asked for is a wheel-in shower, like a flat shower room. That was what we asked for. This is making me feel like I've got an injury, which I know obviously I have, but it's like a reminder that everything's sometimes, you know, things are different, and it isn't a nice feeling. It just stresses me out, because I try to be so organised. They went down to reception. On the way, these other girls said in the lift that they got their room changed because they didn't have a mirror. I mean, but we weren't going to get our room changed, because apparently that's not their problem, but they weren't exactly very helpful at this point. Luckily, like I said, I had the piece of paper with the information on it, and we showed this to them at reception, and they couldn't say anything else. So we got the penthouse suite, which was absolutely out of this world. Don't get me wrong, it was incredible. We loved it. We were so like, I was like, what? Like, oh my God, so excited. But that isn't really the point, because that is still amazing. Obviously, it's incredible. That's what you'd want anyway, like, upgrade us, please. But I would have preferred to have just had it all smooth, you know? You don't want to have to deal with that when you're on holiday. I found Vegas in general quite accessible. It was still, again, difficult to get a cab, but you don't really need to get that many cabs in Vegas unless you're, you know, going far. You could always walk it or whatever, because it's quite flat. You can cut through the, the casinos. I found it is an accessible place. The only thing that was annoying about Vegas with accessibility was having to get across like the road and stuff, and then getting into elevators, I was gonna say lifts or elevators, and then to get to the other side because there was steps or an escalator. But generally that was absolutely fine. So then again, on the way home, we got upgraded, which was lovely. We got to in premium economy again instead of, because I just paid for normal flights on the way home, but with extra leg room, because I was like, I couldn't afford to pay for premium again, because it was just getting a ridiculous amount of money at this point. So luckily we were upgraded to premium economy with extra leg room, and that was so much better because, you know, my friends and people who are helping me could help me easier. But it's not simple. Like, I was so uncomfortable on the way home. I don't know why, probably because my body had just had enough at this point. And I literally had someone like helping me constantly, sat with me. Like I remember like they were all taking it in turns to like sit on these little stools in front of me and holding my legs up because it took some pressure off. So, you know, I may seem like, oh, you know, Jordan's doing all this and all that. Yeah, but there are struggles there. I just don't share all the struggles with you because they, you know, I'm trying to live a positive life. But the only reason I live it positively is because I choose to, you know. There's all the crap bits in between and I just get on with it. And I think that's why I kind of, it sometimes hurts me if people say like, oh, you know, you're not raising awareness, you're this, you're that, on like, in some comments. And I'm like, I am, like, I've done it all the time I've been on YouTube. But also I'm a girl who just wants to live her life too. And despite the struggles, I'm showing you can still live your life. So I had a lot of hassle while I was away or whenever I go anywhere. Because, you know, say if I go somewhere hot, really hot, Vegas was okay because I kept going in and out of the shade. I wasn't like sunbathing really. But if I go somewhere really hot, I can't like cool myself down. So I sweat. I can't sweat, sorry. I only sweat when I'm a bit uncomfortable. That isn't enjoyable, having to keep thinking I need to get in the pool every 10 seconds, which isn't always something I can do. So, you know, there is struggles, but would you rather live your life and just deal with what you have to deal with, or would you just not want to experience anything? I think get out there, even if it is difficult, because the positives always outweigh the negatives, and that's what, you know, that's what I always find. And I had the best time. Like, I didn't want to come home, and I don't really want to live in England now. I want to live in LA forever. But yeah, I just try not to let anything stop me. I tell you what is another worry sometimes, is with the airlines. I asked for a fragile label to put on my wheelchair, because you know how they throw suitcases around. You don't want them to do that to your chair either. So yeah, that's my little story about going away really. It isn't easy, but it's worth it, and I think that is true to a lot in life. It's how you deal with a situation. So, wow, I've been talking for 20 minutes. But if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll answer them. I don't like sharing, sometimes people ask me really personal stuff and I don't feel like it's relevant. So if it's ridiculously personal, I won't be answering it, because I have dignity. I don't like, you know. But if there's any way I can help you, I will. And I hope this has raised some awareness and also given you a bit more of an insight to the struggles with traveling with me. If you want to come on holiday, guys. But yeah, no, I'm not like, it is what it is, and we all had the best time ever. I'm just raising these points to show you that it's not always as glamorous or as fun as it looks, but the fun overshone the shit. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any video requests, please leave them below, because I need some ideas. I've got an idea of a video that I'm doing at the moment, but that's a bit different. I've been thinking of it for ages. But yeah, hope you all have a great day, and I will speak to you soon.